Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Trent. This is Rams Talk. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Glad you're here. Super Bowl 53 is upon us. This is Rams versus Patriots, Volume 2 game preview. This one I'm going to be talking about the Rams defense versus the Patriots offense specifically. But before we get that, I'm going to have some news and notes. But before we get to that, I just want to thank everyone for watching. Glad you're here. To all the legacy subscribers, you guys rock. Rams fans really showing up, really representing. The last video I did, not too many Patriot fans chiming in. So, hey, Patriot fans, if you're there, tell me something I don't know about the Patriots. Let's learn something. For all the new subscribers who just recently joined, welcome to the team. Welcome to the community. People here are really cool. I think you'll like it. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Get on board. You can also find me on Twitter at Real LA Rams Talk. The Twitter Rams community is pretty cool too. Like a different set of guys and girls, but it's like more immediate, you know, the back and forth and all the cool stuff. Follow the Rams players, Rams announcers, all the stats and all that stuff. Really good. Side note, I just had like a shot of like honey, ginger, garlic just before I filmed this. And it's like, it tastes spicy and sweet and pungent, and it's really good. I recommend taking one of those. Very, very abstract kind of thing right now. But anyways, let's dive into this. I was listening to Peter King, NFL insider, tell some anecdotes. He spent some time with Sean McVeigh recently. Like, you know how football players are always up at 4 a.m. watching film. And so he was doing one of these things like a ride along with McVeigh. Found out some interesting things, that not only does Bill Belichick text Sean McVeigh after every game this year, but both of those guys personally negotiated the Brandon Cooks trade. It wasn't GM to GM, but it was coach to coach, talking about trading Cooks and agreeing on the picks and everything. That was McVeigh and Belichick. They have a very good relationship, and I think Belichick respects McVeigh, kind of sees himself in terms of being a football savant, and they have a great rapport. So that's kind of a cool thing. Another thing that Peter King alluded to, and this is something that I was even thinking, and I mentioned it in my last video, is because of these guys and McDaniels and Belichick and McVeigh and Wade Phillips, we're going to see things in this game, in this Super Bowl, that not only have these teams just not run yet on tape this year, but things that may not have existed in the history of the world before. And kind of like what happened last year when the Eagles played the Patriots in the Super Bowl and they scored the game-winning drive or touchdown to Zach Ertz in the fourth quarter. It was a 4-by-1 play, and there were trips on the right, Zach Ertz lined up on the left, and the running back in the backfield. Running back in the backfield goes in motion right to where the trips are on the right, so that's 4-by-1, Ertz on the right, on the other side. And when the running back went in motion, the safety followed him, and it left no one, like where the linebackers are. Like, no one was there. That whole middle of the field was empty. So the guy guarding Ertz was on an island, and Ertz posted in and scored a game-winning touchdown. And you could see the Patriots, the defenders, kind of like pointing like, who's got what's going on here? They were confused. And Peterson, the coach of the Eagles, when they arrived wherever the Super Bowl was being played, he told the guys, he's like, hey, listen, I know you're set with all your plays, but put a couple things in there that we don't know. And so that's the play that won the Super Bowl, was a play that no one had seen before. Now I'm going to start putting links into the description of my videos when I talk about something. So this is one, I'm going to have a link to the video of this play. It's like the third play on the video, and just check it out. That's a brand new play, came out of nowhere. And so the chess match is on. So I'm going to go through a series of matchups that I think are going to be pivotal in this matchup or in this game. And the first one I'm going to talk about is NRC versus JE. Nickell Roby-Coleman versus Julian Edelman. Last week, or 2 weeks ago against the Saints, Nickell Roby-Coleman became a household name for the wrong reasons. But Rams fans have known that he has been pretty much throughout the whole season our best cornerback. I mean, Talib is really our best cornerback, but he wasn't healthy, so throughout the whole year it was NRC. And he been pretty much taking away the slot guys for the other teams, and he did a great job on Michael Thomas and the Saints when Thomas lined up in the slot. When he was in Buffalo, previous to his stay in the Rams, Rex Ryan was his coach, and he was matched up against Gronk when they played the Patriots, and that was a big mismatch, and Gronk took advantage of it. And I mean, what are you going to do? He's like a foot taller, so that's really not NRC's fault. But now he's going to be matched up a guy who's his size, so that advantage is gone. And what NRC really likes to do is play man coverage, or man coverage, but also press at the line. And when he can do that, he can undercut routes. He can flip his hips open and undercut a route. He did that against the Saints. You saw that. But when they bring a receiver in motion, which a lot of teams do, but what the Patriots love to do with Edelman, they'll line Edelman up on the outside. They'll bring him in motion, not always all the way across the line, but just to the inside where the slot receiver is lined up. So there's like two guys there. He's like right behind him. That slot receiver will kind of rub the defender off of Edelman, giving him a seam into the middle of the field. That's where Edelman makes his bread and butter. That's where the Patriots make their bread and butter, is the middle of the field. And I'll talk about Tom Brady and how he does that later on. But Edelman, that's his B&B in the middle of the field. He had, in the last two games in the playoffs, 171 of his 240 some yards were in the middle of the field between the numbers. So that's where he loves to operate. He's also their third down guy. Look against the Chiefs. Third down was him and Gronk, him and Gronk, him and Gronk, him and Gronk. It was Edelman. And it was because they were using pre-snap motion when you bring someone in motion, now you're not having to press. The cornerback really can't stay like pressed up against you. So he's creating just a little bit of wiggle room and separation before the snap. Also, this isn't just for the Patriots do, but all teams do this. They'll bring a receiver in motion to show whether or not the defense is in man or in zone. So if they bring Edelman in motion or anyone in motion, they see NRC trailing him, they're like, okay, it's man. If no one's trailing him, then they know it's zone. And they did that against the Chiefs. It was 3rd and 2. They brought Edelman in motion across the field. Brady realized, oh, this is man coverage. And Edelman had enough separation to just get those 2-3 yards and pick up the first down. So they are great. You know, Brady knows all the pre-snap stuff, how to read a defense, but he and Edelman are synced, and they're just rocking the middle of the field, converting on third down. So when it comes third down and long, you bet it's going to be Edelman with a dash of Gronk in there every time. So NRC is going to have to come up big. He's going to have to play the game of his life, and we know he can do it because he's been a really good receiver all year. I mean, he's not going to shut Edelman down. That's folly, but I think he will put up more of a fight than the Kansas City secondary did against Edelman, no doubt. Obviously, we know the running game for the Patriots has been playing like a boss in the preseason or in the postseason. 48 carries against the Chiefs, 34 against the Chargers. Sony Michel, James White, Rex Burkhead, those guys have been going off. But the real, I guess, revelation for the Patriots in their running game is 21 personnel. 2 running backs, which is really a fullback and a running back, and then a tight end and 2 receivers. Old school. That's old school football right there that you just haven't seen in the last 5 years. Excuse me. So James Devlin is their fullback, and he just looks like a linebacker, and he's big. He's not like a fire hydrant. He's a big dude, and when you see him lined up there, I mean, he's going in there. He's just sledgehammer on the linebackers and Sony Michel. So when the Rams or when other teams see that Devlin and Michel are in there, they're like, this is a run play. And the Patriots telegraph it, and they don't care. Other teams are stacking the box, and they're still getting theirs. In fact, Pro Football Focus has Sony Michel rated as their #1 running back since week 12 in all of football, including postseason. And they have he's the #1 in rushing attempts against a stacked box. So basically the Patriots are saying, we've got Gronk blocking, we've got Devlin blocking, which is like 2 Gronks, really. And we got Michel running. Our O-line is good. Bring whoever you want. You can't stop it. So, Sony Michel in the last 2 games, 200 and something yards, 5 touchdowns. I mean, like, he's been really good. Excuse me, I should take another honey ginger garlic shot right now, kind of clear this up. But where I think the Rams are playing a lot better, well, not I think, but I know, is against the run. We all know what they've done to Zeke. We all know what they did to Kamara and Ingram, and held all 3 of them combined to under 100 yards. So the Rams aren't the same team they were coming into the playoffs. Wade Phillips has really devised a great game plan. Sue has stepped up. Mark Barron has stepped up. Now, this is someone I want to talk about. Mark Barron, I gave him a lot of grief earlier this year because he was coming off an Achilles injury. And I think I just had lost sight of when players they're injured in the preseason, or they get injured throughout the season, they play hurt a lot of times. Even when they come back there, they didn't get a training camp, so they got to like work through it and get in game shape. And Mark Barron was pretty terrible, and it was not just like physically he wasn't doing it. It was like he was just making bad reads as a linebacker of like where the hole is, where the running back's going to be. But in the last 2 games against Dallas, he played in 95% of the defensive snaps, and against New Orleans, he played in 100% of the snaps. And I feel like they were kind of conserving him, bringing him along slowly, but he's peaking at the right time. If you go back, I'm going to have a link for this. If you go back, look at this article. It shows video of Mark Barron making the correct read against New Orleans, and like slipping through tackles, wrapping up Kamara and Ingram, and just doing a great job. I mean, kind of what you'd expect him to do. He's not a beefy linebacker, but he's got the athleticism and the speed to get sideline to sideline, and I feel like he's really, really settling into what that is, what being a linebacker is, and stopping the run. So Mark Barron is kind of our sneaky guy to really neutralize the run for the Patriots. Now, Ndamukong Suh, like I said, has played his best football as a Ram the last 2 games. He's had 7 pressures and 6 stops and a couple of sacks in the last 2 games. And they've gone up against 2 really good offensive lines, the Rams had. So, you know, he's, like you all know, he's stepped up. And another guy, this is my sneaky pick for, I mean, Jared Goff. If the Rams win, Jared Goff is most likely the MVP of this game, or Todd Gurley perhaps. But defensively, this could be a Dante Fowler 2.5 sack game if he gets to Brady. I'm not assuming that the Rams will get to Brady because he hasn't been sacked in the postseason on like 90 dropbacks, and went up against Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa, went up against D Ford, Chris Jones, and Justin Houston. So he's gone up against some good D-lines, but he hasn't, I mean, those are good, all respect, but there's no Aaron Donald, there's no Ndamukong Suh, Brockers Fowler. Those guys are beasts. Fowler has a pretty good track record against Tom Brady. Last year's AFC Championship game, I want to say he had 2 sacks. He had a sack, I think, against Brady in week 2. He's had 3 sacks, 3 QB hits in his last 2 games against Brady. He's played against Brady. He knows the Patriots, and I think that's great experience to have. And he's really played well in the last like month or so. He's really come on, and I think the combination of all the guys on the Rams, I feel if they're double teaming AD, then then that's going to leave other guys open. I think Fowler could really feast. Now, speaking of AD, he's going to be lined up between one of the guards, Thule or Shaq Mason, and then center Andrews. And those guys are all good. So this is going to be a really good test for Aaron Donald. And he has gone against good centers and guards in the playoffs, but the Patriots have been really, really good at protecting Brady. Now, I'm going to talk about Brady now because, I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't. And this is what this is going to be. We all know the teams that beat the Patriots are the teams that put pressure on Tom Brady. And the reason why so few teams beat Brady and the Patriots is because so few teams put pressure on him. It's hard to do. He gets the ball out during the regular season. He was 5th in holding the ball, so he got the ball in 2.61 seconds, which is 5th quickest. And Drew Brees is quick like that too. But in the playoffs, he's been at 2.42 seconds. So he's even getting out faster. And Aaron Donald can't sack Tom Brady if Tom Brady doesn't have the ball. So that's going to be key. Can he hit on the short route? So Tom Brady is going to want to get Edelman on the some space so he can hit him in the middle on a short route. James White on a short route, right? He can't afford to let those plays develop, kind of like what the Rams do. So Brady also loves going over the middle. That's his highest completion percentage, is going over the middle in short and intermediate throws. So for me, the Rams really need to clog the middle of the field, and that will help against them running the ball, the Patriots' running attack, and the passing attack. Now, Tom Brady can beat the Rams deep. He can throw the deep ball. He threw that deep ball to Dorsett against the Chiefs. But Gronk is not sprinting out for a deep ball. Edelman potentially could. Dorsett potentially could. But, I feel like the Rams should go in robber one coverage, where they bring a safety down 10 yards out from the line of scrimmage and then have another safety high. So basically you have that safety or, kind of just there in the middle of the field, just kind of guarding it. Now, the play act. So Rams are 7th at. So okay. Rephrase. At passes that get out less than 2.5 seconds, the Rams are 7th in the NFL in defending those. So they're actually good against the quick pass, like they were against Brees and the quick pass. They can handle it, but the longer he holds it, they have a harder time unless AD gets to them. Now the Rams are terrible in play action defense, guarding against play action, and the Patriots are 3rd in QBR and passer rating. Rams are last in QBR and passer rating. So I'm going to wrap this up here. I can't go on much longer, but I think that the play action for both teams they excel in, but the Rams can't really let the Patriots get comfortable. If the running game breaks down, then the play action can't be sold, and there you go, that opens it up. And like I said before, Tom Brady with the short and intermediate throws, whether it's crossing routes or inseam or dig routes, those are his bread and butters. And there's so many other things to look at in this game. I didn't really mention Gronk, but I really feel like this comes down to the running game, Julian Edelman, and I didn't really talk about James White, but James White to me is Alvin Kamara in the passing game. And he always will be lined up with Tom Brady in shotgun, and he just wheels out. And so he really likes to throw. It's all short. It's all short stuff. And I really believe in Wade Phillips. I think he'll know what to do. I think he's devised a good game plan in 2015 for the Broncos when they had DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller and Chris Harris on that team. So he knows what to do. And I really feel confident that defensively, you're not going to take everything away, but Tom Brady threw 2 interceptions against the Chiefs, right? And the Chiefs were an offsides away from winning that game. So the most important thing is that Tom Brady is good. He's experienced. The team is good. The team is experienced. They have great coaching, everything, great discipline, great offensive line, but they're beatable. They're human. They make mistakes, you know? So, anyways, I feel like we're going to hear a lot of Rams that people don't really hear about are going to step up defensively and kind of really show the Patriots what they got. Anyways, I'm tapping out. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you want to watch my previous Rams Patriots video, you can do so as well. I'm going to be coming out with another video on Saturday morning, day before the game, give you a little taste right before the game. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and go Rams.